So, have you ever found yourself, overthinking something so intensely? Like maybe you're replaying some awkward comment you made back in, 2014,
Oh, yeah.
or analyzing the tone of an email you got last week until your brain just feels completely fried and you need a nap.
It's exhausting.
I swear I once spent 48 hours trying to decide between two identical brands of black socks. It is absolutely exhausting.
It is. And, that's not really thinking, is it?
Hmm.
That is exactly what the source material we looked at for this calls time travel with anxiety.
Time travel with anxiety. I love that.
Yeah, you're either stuck in the past, right,
Mhm.
analyzing something you literally cannot change, or you're fast forwarding to some catastrophic future that probably won't even happen.
And that loop, that
Yeah.
that paralyzing spiral, that's exactly what we are diving into.
So our mission for you today is pretty focused. We need to understand what overthinking really is, how it's different from just good productive planning.
Okay.
Then we need to expose the truly massive hidden cost of this habit.
Yeah.
And then, and this is the important part, leverage simple, immediate action to break that spiral.
Let's unpack that right away, because I think a lot of us who overthink, we like to tell ourselves we're just being thorough.
Hmm.
I'm a high-level planner. But the sources are clear that overthinking isn't thinking a lot, it's thinking in circles. Why is that distinction so important?
Well, it's everything, really. Because circular thinking or rumination is completely non-productive. When you're problem solving, you're gathering data, you're analyzing, and you're moving toward a conclusion.
There's forward motion.
There's forward motion.
Yeah.
When you're overthinking, you're gathering the same data over and over and reanalyzing the same fear. The analogy used in the sources is, I think, perfect.
Yeah.
It's like your brain opens up 37 tabs,
Right.
and not a single one of them is loading.
Oh, that is such a visceral feeling, that cognitive overload where every tab is just demanding power, but nothing is actually happening.
Exactly. And all that switching between tabs, it creates what psychologists call switching costs.
Mm.
You're just expending a ton of energy refocusing.
You're worrying about regret in tab 7 and then the imaginary fight in tab 19.
And the logistics of failure in tab 36. You're not solving problems, you're collecting worries like Pokemon.
I love that. And you're trying to catch them all. So
Yeah.
what are the specific worries in this collection?
Oh, it's the full spectrum of self-torture. You've got regret over things you did. You've got overwhelming fear of things you might do.
Those imaginary arguments you have in the shower.
Absolutely. And yes, that one mortifying thing you said in middle school that your brain has decided is somehow still relevant to your career today. They're all cycling.
And the really insidious part is the lie that keeps us stuck, isn't it? The delusion that if we just think a little more, dedicate a little more brain power.
We'll unlock clarity.
Right.
It's this false promise. We're waiting for that magical moment where the perfect answer just appears.
It feels like preparation.
But it's not. It's a very sophisticated form of procrastination. And in reality, the only things getting unlocked are like crippling stress and a really bad headache. The clarity you want. The sources argue it only shows up after you stop trying to think your way out.
Okay, so if we're trapped in this high-energy, totally non-productive loop, let's talk about the real cost. This isn't just a mental thing, right? What does this actually cost you in missed opportunities?
This is where the source materials share this powerful, almost heartbreaking story that just crystallizes the whole problem.
Okay.
It's about a person who had a great idea for a small online project, something they were genuinely passionate about, just posting consistently on a niche topic. Simple goal, launch it, build an audience.
Sounds great. Low stakes, easy way to start something new. So what happened?
They researched for a full year.
Like a full year.
An entire year.
Just on research, what did that even look like?
Oh, it was meticulous. Detailed spreadsheets charting what competitors are doing. Weeks spent arguing with themselves over brand colors and fonts. They even had a logo drafted that was ready for, like, a national campaign.
So they were completely prepared, statistically, philosophically.
But they hadn't posted a single thing. Analysis led directly to paralysis.
That is just...
It's
devastating because while they were planning the perfect launch, someone else was just...
Yep. Someone else just started posting. Messy stuff, probably inconsistent, maybe even garbage, as the sources call it.
And they won.
And they won. They got the audience, they got the momentum, they got the feedback. They found clarity through action, not spreadsheets. And this leads to this really provocative insight in the sources.
What's that?
Confidence for no reason is undefeated.
Okay, wait, I have to jump in on that a little bit because that sounds dangerously close to just being reckless.
Right.
I mean, isn't there a huge risk of rushing in with no plan? Don't the sources warn about acting completely impulsively?
It's a great challenge, and it's a really important distinction. The sources separate recklessness from what they call imperfect action.
Okay.
The risk for the online project person wasn't a lack of planning, it was excessive planning. And it was all driven by this need for guaranteed perfection. The person who won didn't ignore reality, they just let reality be their feedback mechanism, not their fear filter.
Ah. So the one who acted, even if their first posts were terrible, they immediately got data back.
Instantly. Data on what works, what doesn't. The researcher only got hypotheticals.
The cost of perfect preparation is actual forward motion.
Precisely. You learn more from a messy launch than from a flawless year of planning. You have to start before you're ready, because ready is just your brain's way of saying, I haven't eliminated all the risk yet.
And that takes us from the symptom, the circling thoughts, to the root cause. If the circle is the vehicle, the engine is fear.
Fear is the ultimate protector. I mean, that's what's going on here. The sources detail the usual suspects: fear of failing, fear of looking stupid.
Even fear of success, sometimes.
Oh yeah, because success brings new pressures. But the biggest one, the one that really runs the show, is the fear of judgment.
The idea that if you put your messy, imperfect self out there, you're going to be publicly condemned or exposed as a fraud.
And here's the kicker, the real irony the sources point to. Often, this fear of judgment comes from people who aren't even doing what you want to do.
They're not in the arena.
Not at all. They're spectators, they're critics. They haven't taken the risk. But their hypothetical disapproval is given enough weight to stop you dead in your tracks.
So you're creating this whole internal crisis based on the imaginary opinions of people who have no skin in the game. That's a self-imposed prison.
And it's a prison built by the brain's own protection system gone haywire. Overthinking is your brain trying to shield you from risk. It sees action as dangerous, so it says, hey, let's just stay here in the cave and think about it some more.
But it protects you so hard.
It protects you so hard it locks you in the house and hides the keys. You feel safe because you haven't failed, sure, but you are completely, totally immobilized.
And the tool it uses to keep you locked down is that toxic inner dialogue. My inner critic isn't just a critic, it's a drama queen. It turns every tiny decision into a high-stakes monologue.
It catastrophizes. The course material has these incredibly relatable examples of how this voice just paralyzes simple tasks by blowing the stakes way out of proportion.
Okay, like sending an important email, you draft it, it seems fine, but then what's that immediate voice that slams on the brakes?
It doesn't say, hey, maybe check the spelling. It screams, ah, yes, ruined your career.
Exactly, that's the voice. A simple outreach that should take 3 minutes is now a catastrophic event that could destroy everything.
Total escalation. It turns a tiny step into a potential landmine. And then there's a truly universal one, the dreaded text spiral.
Oh, we've all been there.
You type out a text, maybe to schedule something, and instantly your brain goes, too eager, too available, delete.
So you delete it obediently.
And then you rewrite it, make it sound more casual, maybe add a strategic emoji.
But then you reread that, and now it sounds too distant, too cool, maybe even passive-aggressive, so.
Delete it again. You step away for an hour, maybe a day, and then comes the final move, the checkmate. 3 days later, you realize if you send it now.
It's weird if you said it, the window has closed.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah.
The entire drama, the conflict, the resolution, the defeat, it all happened inside your own head.
You negotiated yourself out of even trying.
And that brings us right to the core solution, the pivot that all the source material points toward.
Which is what? To think about it better, find the logical flaw in the fear.
No, not at all. The cure for overthinking is not better thinking.
It's action.
It's action. It's not about finding the perfect plan. It's about moving before the plan is perfect.
So you interrupt the spiral.
You have to. Thinking in circles is a trap built from inactivity. The second you move, your brain has a new data point to analyze. It forces those 37 tabs to refresh and hopefully to close. You don't need the whole plan, you just need the first step.
But that goes against everything we're taught, right? We're supposed to wait until we have total clarity before we make a move.
That's the myth we have to dismantle. The critical insight here is a complete reversal. Motion creates clarity. Clarity does not create motion.
So waiting for clarity is...
It's waiting for something that will never arrive.
Yeah.
We're waiting to feel ready. But the sources are so clear on this. Ready is a myth. Ready is something you create after you start, not something you find beforehand.
Which brings us back to the person with the online project. They were waiting for that feeling of readiness. What happened when they finally just took that imperfect action?
The moment they finally posted something, messy, unfinished, totally imperfect, they had two huge realizations. First, the big one.
Yeah.
Nobody cared.
Wow. Total freedom, the stakes they built up in their head, the career ruining potential, it just wasn't real.
Not even close. The world's too busy worrying about their own 37 loading tabs to judge your first messy post. And the second thing was the few people who did care. They were supportive. They gave encouragement or helpful feedback.
So the danger was never the external judgment, it was the internal fear of it.
Exactly. So we have to stop waiting for confidence to show up before we start. We have to reverse the whole thing.
Start before you're confident.
You have to. Because confidence shows up after action. It's a byproduct of doing the thing. You can't think your way into feeling confident.
Okay, let's make this super practical for everyone listening. If momentum is the only cure, how do we create that first spark? What's the challenge?
Pick one thing, one single thing you've been overthinking this week. It could be an email you need to send, a phone call you're dreading, an idea you haven't shared,
Just one small decision that's been circling.
and take a tiny action on it today. Not a perfect action, not a polished one. The goal is not perfection. The goal is just to be done with that one small thing.
And the action has to be tiny.
It needs to take less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes is the magic number. It bypasses the brain's risk assessment. If you know you can do it in under 5 minutes, your brain often just sees it as too trivial to start the whole catastrophic planning cycle.
So you're launching a paper boat, not the whole battleship. Get the email out. Write the first paragraph. Send the awkward text before your inner critic can even open the Ruin Your Career tab.
That's the strategy. You have to recognize the enemy's weakness. Overthinking absolutely hates momentum.
It thrives on being static.
Exactly. So move, even if it's clumsy, even if it's incomplete. Just move.
You don't need to become a new, fearless person overnight.
No, you just need to stop negotiating with your fear over this one tiny step that's right in front of you.
Start messy, start scared, but start.
And since we know ready is a myth, think about this. What is that one specific, imperfect, maybe slightly scary small step, something that takes less than 5 minutes that you can take right now? Just create that initial spark of momentum, let that momentum bring the clarity, and just watch those 37 tabs finally start to resolve.